10 random magic cards rated, day number 89. What is... Enough with that. Sorry, guys. What's the first card of the day, everybody? Happy Saturday, by the way. Or whatever day you're watching this. I hope you have a good one. Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator is the first card of the day. This is 3 mana, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 flyer. It's a Siren Pirate as well. So a Wind Drake, you got to do a little bit better than that. Whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents, you create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage, and this also has partner. So you can have 2 commanders if they both have partner. Huh. Is this like pretty early appearance of Malcolm, actually? It's kind of neat. I don't know that I've ever really seen this Malcolm, but in a Pirates deck, I guess you probably make room for this card. There may be just better, even in Commander, there may be better ways to fill your slots than playing this, but, you know, get a treasure token most turns, and some turns you get more than 1 treasure token, but you're really putting a lot of aggro on yourself if you're just attacking everybody at the same time. So, I don't know. I want to have a lot of faith in this, but I just kind of don't. I'm going to give it a 4.8 and kind of leave it there, but I acknowledge that in Pirates, this is maybe okay. And I also know that it works with itself. You know, if it hits an opponent, it's a Wind Drake that just gives you a treasure token with no other pirate synergies. And that could be worse. It could be worse, but I think in today's day and age, it could be a lot better too. So I'm sticking with the 4.8. I am. I know, Ziggy. I know I'm not sure about it either, but I got to have the courage of my convictions. You know what I mean? But we'll look at Myth Unbound next. Printed in Commander 2018. 3 mana, 2 and a green for an enchantment. Your commander costs 1 less to cast for each time it's been cast from the command zone this game. Okay, so it discounts the commander tax by 1. Whenever your commander is put into the command zone from anywhere, draw a card. Neat. This is only printed once? Like 6 years ago? That's kind of surprising, man. I've never seen this card, which is weird. Because I've had friends play with green commanders. I play with a green commander, Dina, and I've not really seen this card, even in like all the research I've done, like trying to find cards for that deck. I've not really seen this, and it's actually pretty good. This is pretty good, right? I mean, if your commander dies 3 times in a game, that's 3 cards. So this is quite good, actually. It's still $5 too, probably largely because of scarcity. It's only in the 1 set, but it's also a very good effect, dude. Since this is a casual commander series, that's what we're rating for. I think I have to give this like a 6.8 or something. I'll ask the audience though, how do you feel about this? Especially as like more seasoned commander players, a lot of you than I am. Is this as good as I think it is, or is it actually kind of a trap, or like is it not worth devoting mana to this, right? Is it actually draw 3 cards for 3 mana, but it takes 7 turns to draw the 3 cards, right? Is it actually, sure, I reduce its cost every time, and so if I have to cast it 3 times, I've reduced it by this thing's casting cost. But another way of looking at that is it takes 3 times casting up my commander out of the command zone to make up for the mana I spent on this card. When you look at it that way, that's worse. But I'm gonna land at like a 6.6 here, but still ask the audience, am I way off on this? Is it actually worse than I think, or is it better than I think? Because that's a pretty good couple of lines of text for this format. But we'll look at Demon's Disciple up next from Zendikar Rising. 3 mana, 2 and a black for a 3/1 human cleric. When it ETBs, each player sacks a creature or planeswalker. So one of these, a Fleshbag Marauder, and not really that much different than a Fleshbag Marauder. It just doesn't have those relevant creature types. It has other relevant creature types. So I guess it does have planes. It does say planeswalker, whereas Marauder doesn't say that. So it's kind of better in that way. I'm going to give this a 5. I think the Fleshbag Marauders are very close to a 5 anyway. So these cards are always going to get 5s from me most of the times. I just think they're solid. But look at Sculptor of Winter, only ever printed in Kaldheim. 2 mana, 1 and a green for a 2/2 Snow Elf Rogue. You can tap it to untap a snowland. I'm coming, bud. I'm coming. I'm going to let you out in just a second, I promise. Just a snow mana dork. Despite how cool the border and the art looks, you know, just that's all it is. Snow mana dork, I guess. And untapping snowland seems great in some situations. Also has a sneaky rogue creature type, which could be important, but I'm just going to land this at like a 4.2. Mana dorks, by and large, have to be a little bit better than this, all things considered. But Choked Estuary is up next. This is a land. At ETBs, you can reveal an island or swamp from your hand. If you don't reveal one of those basics, this enters tapped. Or it doesn't have to be a basic. It can just be any island or swamp. But yeah, you tap this and it makes blue or black. So An untapped duel 9 times out of 10. Again, you don't have to reveal a basic. You reveal a dual land. You can reveal a surveil land. You can reveal one of those lands we looked at in the last couple of videos that want you to have 2 of the basic lands out for it to come into play untapped. You can reveal shock land. You know, like all of these are islands and swamps. So this is only like 15 cents too for like a decent dual land. I'm gonna have to give this a 7. Like I gave the last, set of dual lands. I gave them a 7 too. I just think an untapped duel that's pretty easy to make into an untapped duel is always going to be good. You draw it off the top late in the game, it's pretty much always going to enter tapped, which sucks. But in the early game, it's fairly easy to make this an untapped duel, and those are just great. I am coming, bud. Hold on. Ziggy, come here. Ziggy. I don't know if he's going to do it. Hold on. I'm going to let him out in a second. Path to Exile is up next. We've already looked at this card, sadly. Skull Clamp. I don't think we've looked at this. This is banned in Modern and even banned in Legacy. Originally printed in Dark Steel, where it was also eventually banned in that standard environment. This is 1 mana for an artifact. It's an equipment that equips for 1. The equipped creature gets +1/-1. When the equipped creature is put into a graveyard, draw 2 cards. So, yeah... You just make a bunch of 1/1s, put this on your 1/1s, and draw 2. You draw 2 cards for 1 mana, is what this does. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes in Magic history. Still to this day, don't know how this got printed. And the story on this is actually that it was like +1/+1 at first. And then as a downside, they decided to make it -1, close to the last second. If I remember my lore correct, or my legends correct, at least. So, yeah, they thought it would be a downside to kill your own guys. Or you might kill your own guys with this, and wouldn't that be terrible? No, that would be sick if I kill my own guys with this. Because now I get to draw like 6 cards a turn for 3 mana, and we did it too, boy. And there's a reason that it's banned in Modern and Legacy to this day, because we would still be doing it given the chance. Skull Clamp is a mistake. Always has been a mistake. I'm a little surprised this card's legal in Commander, to be honest. But it is. I know it's been in like Commander product, yeah, a bunch of them. And it's pretty freaking powerful there. So I'm going to give one of the most legendary, and honestly, just a card that should have never been printed. One of the most infamous cards in the history of Magic. I have to give like an 8.9. Something like that. Somebody asked the other day, like, what's a 10? You know, like if Soul Ring's a 9, what's a 10? Ancestral Recall is a 10. Black Lotus is a 10. You know, there are 10s, but 10 is a score reserved for cards that are not only perfect, but like beyond perfect. You know what I mean? Skull Clamp isn't quite there, but I am really close to giving this a 9, but I will back off slightly and go 8.9 on it. Not every deck can use it, obviously, but it is broken. It is literally a broken Magic card, the actual meaning of that term. It does not work in the way it was intended to work, in a way that makes it much better than the intent was. So yeah, it's literally, that's broken. Card is stupid, and probably the best card we'll look at this week, if I had to guess. Sweet Tooth Witch is up next, only printed in Wilds of Eldraine. 3 mana, 2 and a black for a 3/2 human warlock. When it ETBs, you get a food token. You can also pay 2 and sack a food to have target player lose 2 life. Boy, how I wish that was each other player. But still, this is kind of a neat little food conversion tool in your food commander decks. I know I sound crazy right now, but one of the problems with foods, if you can't get the sort of onboard value from them that you're looking for, is that all you can really do with them is sack them for life. And that's all well and good, but a lot of the times you wish you had some sort of more offensive capabilities with your food tokens. And just having this out and a ton of mana allows you to deal, 6-8 damage relatively fast. So I kind of like this in food builds, but it's still not amazing, and it costs too much mana to use and all this stuff. So I'm going to give it like a 4, but that's a 4 well earned. I also love that it's like a zombie man with like oven mitts and a little bonnet and stuff. How do you not like that? You know what I mean? But we'll move on. It could be. Witches can be dudes. I guess witches are warlocks. So it probably is a lady. Anyway, Bladed Bracers is up next. Only ever printed in Avacyn Restored. A single mana for an equipment that you equip for 2 mana. The equipped creature gets +1/+1. And as long as that creature is a human or an angel, it has vigilance. Yawn a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Why does it cost 2 to equip? It's terrible. I'm going to give this a 1.9. I don't love it. Next is Shaman here. This is 2 mana. It's pretty lady, right? Pretty lady. She has a couple of, I don't know. Let's sorry. What kind of mood am I in today? I don't know. I've always thought she could get it. This is 2 mana, 1 and a red for a 2/1 Orc Shaman with Menace and Megamorph for a single red mana. You may cast this card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3 mana. Turn it face up anytime for the Megamorph cost and put a +1/+1 counter on it. When it's turn face up, exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You get to play that card. So a little 2/1 here with Menace for 2 mana, which is okay in certain aggro decks. Especially back in the day, that would have been very welcome. But if you want to play it face down, then you get a 4 mana, sure, but 1 mana the turn that you do it. 3/2 that draws a card, sort of. It's a bunch of sort of on this card, but I always thought this was sweet, and it would actually show up from time to time in Dragon Standard, but not very often, but the card really isn't that bad. It really isn't, man. Weird that it's a rare. Probably should have been an uncommon, but still. Card does get you some value, and the stats aren't horrible, right? And I guess I could continue to look at it if I had to. I'm going to give this card a 4.7, which is probably slightly too high, but I don't know. I like value 2 drops, and this is nothing if not that. But final card of the day is Wall of Wood. Let's go back to Unlimited, sure. This is a single green mana for a 0/3 wall that can't attack, because walls can't attack. It has Defender. This is among the worst cards ever printed. It really ought to have reach. You would think, but no. Just a Wall of Wood. Kind of an embarrassing card. It's not as embarrassing as some of the cards from the original few sets, which is really saying something about the card quality and a lot of it was either like through the roof or through, the basement. So I have to give Wall of Wood like a 1. It's really, really bad. It's not good, but I don't know. There's just something about the way it looks. I've always liked the Wall of Wood, but it's terrible. It's a very, very bad Magic card. Why would you play this Magic card? But that's basically all I've got for today, everybody. I will see you for Sunday morning, the last day of the week, for day 89 tomorrow, bright and early. Love you all. Bye.